Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Now, tonight is the night we are saying farewell to Animorphs #4, The Message by Kay Applegate. I would have filmed this earlier in the day, but for some reason, after my doctor's appointment, I just took a nap, and I was just like, maybe I'll, nap for maybe an hour or two, and then it got later and later and later. And I decided to do some things around the house, and now we're here. Oh, sorry, I'm like slightly tired. I did nothing today, and yeah, we're basically here to say farewell to Animorphs #4 before going into the next book, which I will announce at the end of the episode. This one was, God, this I remember talking to a friend, and this was actually the first Animorphs book that she ever picked up because it had Cassie turn into a dolphin. Like, this book tries to be a little science fiction-y without the fantasy part as much. I mean, there's technology and it works sort of, we don't know how, but at least it seems to be not about, hey, there's these superpowers. Well, yeah, this book definitely started edging into the more fantasy side of sci-fi with the Jesus whale. And for some reason, Cassie is able to pick up on the message that Axe is sending out, the stress message. Later on in the series, you can see why Tobias does get the Axe's distress message, but Cassie's reasons seem to be a little more unclear. In one of the Megamorphs books, one of the reasons, I guess, sort of might be implied, but still not really as clear as why Tobias gets the messages. And just talking a few random bits and pieces over Animorphs #4, The Message, but I do have a top 5 list of top 5 things I noticed. Good things and bad things. I just like to have this list of good and bad, not really judgmental one way or the other, not saying I have to have 10 top 5 positive things, just because if I start to do dramatic readings of books that aren't so great, I don't want to have to come up with a name for a different list. And yeah, and some of the two of the later Animorphs books I do have problems with, but we'll get to those later. I still love the series. Now, this is going to be the only video that I'm going to be asking for donations, just because, you've seen a nice whole dramatic reading, so maybe you love me now or whatever. And if you're viewing this on the YouTubes, these links will be in the description. If you are viewing this on my bloggity blog and on the desktop version of my bloggity blog, these links will be on the sidebar thingamajig. And I do use 3 services for donations, just so maybe if you don't like one, you can do another. And sorry, I just paused there because I'm like, oh fuck, I think I didn't. I forget if I'm sorry, I'm just realizing that I didn't really thoroughly edit the description before starting. which I usually like to do. And yeah. Anyways, 3 services. One is Patreon. With Patreon, you get bonus content that my other viewers don't get, so some special things there for you, some goodies. It is also a monthly donation service, so every month, if you donate $1, every month you'll be donating $1, just to sort of warn you ahead of time. Next one is Ko-fi. It's basically you have to donate to me, and donations of at least $3. I don't know. I sort of decided to apply for that just because it sort of sounded like a cute idea. It's all about donating the amount of money that you would need to buy a coffee. And I don't know. I don't know. Found it sort of cute. And I'm like, eh. And the final one is PayPal. And with PayPal, you don't get any bonus content, but you're able to donate a one-time donation for how much you want. So let's get started with this top 5 list. First off, don't acquire sentient creatures rule started. I feel the whole "is it right to acquire dolphins" debate is stupid. Cassie in this book seems to be under the impression that if you morph a sentient creature, then you acquire their memories. This is impossible due to the fact acquiring only gives you a creature's DNA. This doesn't change just because the creature is sentient. Later on in the series, they do acquire sentient creatures. In the case of humans, it makes sense to ask permission first. This is because the Animorphs could potentially ruin the human's life due to a case of mistaken identity. But with worrying that you will acquire memories, it's just, well, dumb. Well, except in the case of one species, but we'll get to that later. I'll definitely get to that one later. And I wanted to add something cute after that, but I'm like, that's semi-spoilery, but maybe toe the line. I know with the toeing the line with the spoilers, I sometimes do that, but yeah. Number 2, how seagulls were portrayed. I am a born and raised Floridian, so there are some things I have opinions on that people elsewhere might not have. One of those opinions is, that of seagulls. They, like every bird in existence, are adorable and much better than people. However, you can't let your guard down around them. Those birds are unafraid to steal from anyone. So if you're on the beach, beware to not make yourself a target. If you're thinking, oh, I can just toss this thing to this seagull, then I can walk away safely, you're very wrong. Once the flock, also called a colony, sees you are willing to give away food, they will come after you. Constant vigilance whenever you're on a Florida beach. How Animorphs number 4 portrays seagulls is extremely accurate. From the top of my head, two of the most honest portrayals of seagulls in fiction, one Animorphs, and the other is Finding Nemo. Mine. Number 3, Axe and his mouth sounds. Axe and his love of mouth sounds continues throughout the series from this point out. So if you loathe them, prepare yourself for more. If you enjoyed them, you'll have an extremely good time throughout the rest of the series. While Axe being amazed by speaking seems childish, it actually makes a lot of sense. He has never had a mouth that spoke before. He has never learned to find speaking normal. So of course he's going to abuse the hell out of this new toy he's found. Axe being amazed with speaking provides a nice contrast with his usual serious self. Though not as serious as another Andalite you'll learn more about in the series. So, Axe is serious, but there's more serious Andalites out there. Way more serious. 4. Calling VHS ancient technology in the reprint. In 2011 to 2012, there were reprints / reissues of the first 8 books in the main Animorphs series. Due to how unsuccessful they were, the full reprint / reissue of this series wasn't completed. The 8th book in the series was only released in digital format. Really sad, as the Animorphs series is what young adult books should be like. Never afraid to treat its audience like adults. I have been reading from the original prints of the Animorphs books. One of my friends / fans has the reprint of this book and alerted me to one of the changes. Both of us are adults, but we're not old. I'm 31 years old and am unaware of how old he is. But both of us felt attacked when the reprint called VHS Ancient Technology or something similar. We're not that old. VHS isn't ancient, just not used much anymore. Yeah, it's VHS. It's not fucking ancient technology. Stop calling me old, books. I mean, it was this book saying like VHS is ancient technologies, and then, God, I was reading one of the Twilight books, and it's like, God damn it, Belle was like, oh my God, 30 years old means I turn into grandma. I'm 31 fucking years old, and I'm like, fuck you, bitch. Goddamn fiction I read. It keeps on calling me old and ancient. I don't like this shit. And finally, number 5. The appearance of Axe, the final Animorph. Axe is someone I've been dying to talk about. Unfortunately, some parts I will refrain from as they are major spoilers. Also a minor spoiler, but something first-time readers need to encounter on their own. Trust me, yeah. Yeah. Don't want to spoil that. It's really fucking minor, but you seriously just need to experience on your own for the first time unaware. Throughout the book, the Animorphs have been searching for an Andalite. Of course, they would hope that the alien is an adult so they don't have so much responsibility, so that they can lay all their woes at an adult's feet, or in this case, hooves. That's about the same reason in Animorphs number 3 that Animorphs wanted to fly the Yerk ship around and like, hey, look at the Yerks are real peeps. Yeah, we don't want to be children soldiers. While Axe is an alien, he has something that makes him extremely relatable. He doesn't pay full attention in class all the time. If you've never zoned out in class before, you are an odd one. The rest of us have had some classes that we had no interest in, so we can't concentrate all the time. Even interesting classes sometimes have their low points. So to see an alien kid zoning out makes him extremely relatable. Axe being the younger brother of Alfengor is interesting. It also provides the basis for the main plot of Animorphs number 8. And those are the 5 things I've noticed in this book. And if you have a different list, please comment below. Also, please remember that when I do this for the next book, that before okay, let me edit my words here. If you were sort of disappointed that your plot point wasn't commented in my top 5 list this time around, please remember that the next time I finish a book and that I do ask for people's opinions for topics so that I can talk about what you want to hear about. So if you have topics for the next book, wait until after I finish reading it, and in that video I will be asking for topics for this. And so the next book I will be doing a dramatic reading of is Animorphs number 5, The Predator by Kay Applegate. Yeah, so if you have some topics for Animorphs number 5 that you're like, I really fucking hope she talks about this in her outro video, remember that when I read the last chapter of Animorphs number 5 and ask for topics to comment below. So yeah, next book I will be reading a dramatic. Sorry. So again, next book I will be doing a dramatic reading of is Animorphs number 5, The Predator by Kay Applegate. And the next video I will be doing will be another episode of Writing Session. And that writing session episode should come out on Wednesday. Or really fucking early Thursday morning. I'm sorry, I tried to get it out on the days I have listed on my YouTube channel. But sometimes things don't work out. So, until next video, goodbye.